Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Muzamil Putra bin Rosli from the class of LG 2433C, and for this informative speech assignment I will be explaining about utilitarianism. So to start this presentation with, I will begin with a definition. Utilitarianism is an ethical theory or philosophy that states it is morally right to give the most happiness, benefit, or pleasure to the greatest number of people. The next thing you need to know about utilitarianism is that the more happiness you give, the more righteous you are. That is like the core of utilitarianism, right? So let's say that you have three friends and you also have a cake that you owned it. Okay, so if you are the only person who's eating that cake, the only amount of happy people is only one, which is you. However, if you share your cake with three of your friends, the amount of happy people would be increased. So the second decision, which is sharing your cake, that would be you applying the utilitarianism because the amount of happy people is increased. The next thing that you need to know about utilitarianism is that the consequences of your actions are more important than your intention, right? So let's say that in this situation there are two persons, which is you and Ben. Let's say that Ben is suffocating and he needs a CPR to survive, and you try to save them. But the thing is, you don't know the proper way to do the CPR rescue technique. You don't know the proper technique, right? So when you are doing CPR to Ben, you accidentally broke his ribs, causing making him harder to breathe, making it so much worse. So although your intention is to save Ben's life, but the consequences are a lot worse. So according to utilitarianism, your action is considered as bad rather than good. Although it may seem like the previous of my statement is quite harsh, but actually utilitarianism is a selfless approach, and it is not considered as egoistic. Okay, so let's do another situation where you are in a zombie apocalypse, right? So let's say that you were bitten by this green zombie and you will become one of the zombies, right? So according to utilitarianism, the right thing to do is for you to sacrifice yourself. You need to stay away from your friends to avoid them being infected as zombie as well. So when the survival of three people is so much better than your survival. The next thing that you need to know about utilitarianism is that emotion doesn't play a huge role while making decisions. Although I did say about the whole thing about utilitarianism is that you need to produce the greatest number of happiness to the greatest number of people, and happiness itself is an emotion. However, when you are making any decision and you wanted to apply utilitarianism, emotion doesn't play a huge role. I will give you another scenario. Let's say that you are a doctor and you have 5 patients, right? Your four blue patients here, they need 1 pill each to survive, and your final patient, which is the red one, it needs 5 pills to survive, right? But the dilemma here, your conflict here is that you only have 5 pills. So would you save the one red person, or would you save 4 blue patients? So according to utilitarianism, you need to give benefit to most people. So the righteous thing, the morally right for you to do, is to save the blue patients, 4 of them, by using 4 pills. Although the death of the red patient would be incredibly sad. However, this is the best decision that you can make. You need to save 4%. You need to sacrifice 1% to save 4%. This is what utilitarianism basically means. However, like I said before, emotion shouldn't play a huge role in making decisions, um, in, including when you know the identity of your red patient. Let's say that the red patient is someone that you know, your family member or your best friend. According to utilitarianism, you need to produce the best amount of benefit to the greatest amount of people. So according to utilitarianism, regardless of your relationship with the red patient, the greatest number of people that needs to be saved should be prioritized. Therefore, we are reaching the conclusion of my informative speech, which is all about utilitarianism. So, in my conclusion, is utilitarianism good or bad? I'm sorry, I cannot answer that question because this is an informative speech. I just merely describe what utilitarianism is, and it is up to you, my audience, to decide whether it's good or bad. So, to conclude this whole presentation, I think that utilitarianism is a way of humanity to explain what a human ought to do. And according to utilitarianism, human ought to be happy. That is the final outcome that everyone can agree that all of us wanted to be happy. For example, all of our daily decisions are based on that final outcome, is to be happy. Why do we learn? So that we can get good grades. Why do we need good grades? So that we can get a good job. And why do we need good job? So that we can buy anything that we want. And why do we do that? Because we think that that would make us happy. So if happiness is the final outcome and happiness is the right thing to do, then to produce the greatest amount of happiness to the greatest amount of people would be the right thing to do, right? So basically, that is the idea of utilitarianism. I did give many situations. As you can probably guess right now, there might be limitation or the line that you draw when you are applying utilitarianism. Regardless, that is everyone's choice whether to apply utilitarianism or not. So that would be my informative speech for today. Thank you so much for listening.